Hello and welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for coming on.
No worries. So I am Sasha. I am 28 years old and I am one of the personal trainers that works alongside Shay with Gym and Tonic.
Yes.
I do not have any human skin children, but I do have two fur babies and they are the love of my lives, and that's...
Not your husband?
Nah, he's third rank. He's third rank in the household.
Yeah, nice.
So their names are Sprocket and Gizmo, and they're both 4 years old.
And what are they?
They are, so Sprocket is a Dashin Cross and Gizmo is a mutt breed.
Mutt breed. They're tiny little things.
They're very small. They keep me on my toes the way that most children would keep mothers on their toes.
Oh, yeah.
But the best part is they can take themselves to the toilet in the middle of the night.
Alrighty, Sasha, what are you going to tell? What story are you here to tell us today?
So I thought I would come on and talk about, I guess, like my upbringing. So I am an identical twin. Mm-hmm. I have a younger sister as well, so it's a very female-dominant household. But I also, through my childhood, I have hearing loss. I now wear hearing aids as an adult, and I was ADHD as a child and have now been diagnosed as ADHD as an adult.
Does it develop like that, or were you just misdiagnosed when you were younger?
I don't think, from conversations growing up, I don't think I had a formal diagnosis until I was an adult. It was
for ADD?
Yeah. It was always, she's got low beans, she doesn't sit still, or she's disrupting the class, or she's not getting through her work, or she's bored. We think.
Okay.
There was no, let's sit down and go through some sort of testing. Yeah. Particularly as a female, it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
They're bossy, they're commanding, they just like to talk a lot, they like to gossip a lot. They prioritize their tasks more.
Because it shows differently females to males.
Absolutely, and I think, being a little bit older, it wasn't so prominent when I was in school, particularly at a younger age, because it probably came about from chatting with mum and dad when I was about probably in prep, or what is prep now. That was preschool, was when it was first noticed, and so it wasn't as common back then. No. It was just, they've got more energy.
Because that's like 23 years ago.
Yeah. Meanwhile, now it's like, hey.
Everyone's got ADD or ADHD. You get ADHD. You get ADHD.
You get this and you get this and you get...
Yeah.
And I have noticed that, but it is more becoming more acceptable for females to have it.
Yeah.
And it is more common to actually have testing in place where then there's an outcome and an action plan and here's how you're going to cope, instead of just let's dope the kid and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So...
Were you put on medication as a youth?
No medication as a youth.
Because you weren't formally diagnosed?
I think, one, not being formally diagnosed, and my parents... that was never really something that was considered. They did a lot in terms of getting the ears checked more often. Mm-hmm. So I went through from about age 4, multiple sets of grommets, hearing tests, ENT tests. Mm-hmm. I had numerous speech therapy. Mm-hmm. I had delayed speech.
Was that related to hearing? Or?
Yeah, so that was one of the things that my folks noticed, was that, grommet after grommet after grommet, which didn't actually improve the hearing, and a lot of speech issues. I remember having therapy in terms of holding cutlery, and you'd have the pencil grips on how to grip the pencil, because I'd just grip it in my fist. Even now, if I've had a big day of work, I'll just grip it. I won't hold the way you're meant to. Sitting in a chair, there's no upright sitting. It's feet go under and around and a more slouched position, just because it's just more fun. But they tried a lot in terms of social stimulation. So got me into sport. They got my eyes checked and I need glasses. And then it was, what if we reduce the sugar in the food dye? And then from there, the diet changed to, using the energy that you had, sitting me at the front of the class so I could hear and I could see. Those behavioural changes did end up never not being there, but they improved.
Yeah, I wasn't manageable.
That's it. The report card stopped being Sasha likes to disrupt the class. Sasha likes to provoke the other children. It was so Sasha's loud.
Yeah,
well, she gets her work done. A for effort. A for, it was stopped being there.
Can you give me an example of provoking the other children? Do you remember?
I liked to just distract him.
Okay.
You know, I was bored. I'd either gone through my work or I didn't want to do it because it wasn't what I wanted to do at the time. And so it was like, what are you doing over there?
Yeah, okay.
Oh, let's go and do this.
Yeah, okay.
How's your day?
Yeah,
And
okay.
just sidle up to the teacher and be like, hey, what's up? You know, and I'll find to do it now. You know, particularly at home, particularly during work from home with COVID.
Yeah.
And having my partner at home.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Do you want a cup of tea? Do you want a snack? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Just because I was bored and it was quiet in the house and needed to make noise.
Stimulation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't have ADD or ADHD, but lots of the things that you're saying was also part of my report card. Even today, I was trying to pinch Harry's skin with my toes. So, I can imagine what you would be like at home having ADHD.
I'm very blessed that all my friends, my partner, my parents have always been understanding. Like, I'll start a task and start a task and start a task and start a task and start a task. And then I'll get to the point where it's either snowballed or I've gone, so what are we doing now? And they're like, okay, here's this task from last week. How does that sound to you?
How's that one going? Let's circle back.
Yeah. I have a task.
Do you forget about them?
Absolutely. So, like, at home, if you ever come to my house, I have a diary on the kitchen table, labelled out clients, school stuff that I'm studying. There'll be a calendar on the wall with all important things that need to be done in the month. Then on the fridge is what we're eating that day, as well as things that I need to do in case I've missed the diary and missed the calendar. My phone, that diary will then send me an alert the hour before, the half hour before, and 10 minutes before. So I know, hey, this is what we're doing, and it will give me a prompt for when to leave the house to get to a client's house.
Oh, right.
Because I just never want to be in that position where I've started multiple things and I've become engrossed in something that's caught my attention.
Yeah, right.
Because when that does happen, I won't do anything else the entire day.
So is there something that can captivate your attention and hold it? Like TV or music?
Yeah, books. I really like to read. Last year, my tally was 192 books for the year.
Wow.
Otherwise, TV isn't a stimulant for me. It's just the sitting. I can't do it.
Yeah, right. Okay.
However, like video games, there'll be times, like on a Sunday, I'll start a video game and it'll be like 5 o'clock. And I'll be like, huh.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no.
I haven't peed. I
haven't
drunk.
left the chair.
Yeah, right.
You know, and I think it's, you know, books, you can fall into it. You imagine yourself in that scenario, or you run it through your head. You imagine the voices.
Yeah.
While video games are the bright flashy lights, which is why I guess casinos are so popular.
Movement with your hands.
That's it. You know, you've got lights and sounds, and there's things and you know, stuff to do.
Stimulus.
Yeah, that's why I think them fidget spinners are fantastic.
Yeah.
Like if I had that as a kid, game changing.
Yeah.
Even as an adult, to have things that I can just play around with is so cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do you get lost on your phone?
Yes. So like the screen time on my phone is wild.
Yeah.
Because I've got games on my phone, there's YouTube on my phone, I've got books because I've got Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
So I can just read a book, finish it, return it, get a new one. I don't have to travel to the library.
Yeah,
I don't even have to go home and get a new book. I just go straight away. Within seconds, book. So I think technology has been a good thing and a bad thing. Like a good thing in terms of I know where I'm going next.
Organisation.
Bad in terms of it's easy to go down a fixation spiral.
Distraction. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So you've obviously been developing strategies then your whole life.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like through high school, I would have and then through university would be a calendar on the wall, color-coded to classes, but then assignments coming up and knowing that, okay, on this date, this color code, I have to do this to make sure that assignment was going to be turned in. Or you could put a lock on the computer so you couldn't open another browser. Because as soon as you open another browser, game over. I've moved on from this. Something else. And you would turn into like the black hole of like Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Or the black hole of YouTube, where next minute you're trying to find out how starfish have babies.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man.
Now I'm going to have to Google that when we finish. Damn it. Yeah.
So, because it's so easy. Like for me, I think like my biggest things are moving from one thing to another, or like hyperfixation.
Yeah. Okay.
More so, And that to me is fine. I have a lot of traits through ADHD and I guess hearing loss that are rude that I try to work on the most.
Yeah.
To not come across as a rude person, because I like to, be a nice person, as most people try and do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think managing hyperfixation is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So all of these coping strategies that you've developed, are these things that someone has introduced you to, or are they things that you've kind of identified, like you've trial and error, you've trialed something, you've seen it and you thought, this is a good idea, this is working for me?
I guess a little bit of A, a little bit of B, like reading a lot, you pick up then on books about other people, because obviously I'm not the first person, I won't be the last person to either have hearing loss or to have ADHD. And it's like, okay, well, if this has worked for someone, maybe it'll work for me. Or just you've gotten to the point where you've either forgotten enough things that someone's gotten mad at you and enough is enough. Someone has said to you, hey, have you tried this?
Yeah, okay.
And then it's that trial and error to find out. Because like trial and error was the calendar wasn't enough, because it's easy to bypass the calendar on the wall, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a diary. Well, diary is great, but I have to remember to put things in it first of all.
And it's quite time consuming I have a diary and then put things in my phone, but often it takes so long.
Yeah.
I'll do it in 2 seconds. Like I've not got enough time to write it down. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that whole, I'll do it in 2 seconds, that never happens. So it's either I drop everything I'm doing in that present moment to do the thing I said I'll do in 2 seconds to make sure that thing is done. And then I forget about the first task I was working on.
Yeah.
And I've moved on now. That's gone, right? Or you just, the 2 seconds thing is, you're never going to remember that. And someone's like, oh, hey, you know how you say it? I was like, you go, oh, yeah, I didn't write that down.
Yeah, right. You've achieved heaps then, considering you have a short attention span. It's not a short attention span though, is it?
It's a short attention span. It's
just distractible.
Easily distractible.
Because you've got degrees. Obviously, you've finished a PT course. I haven't finished a PT course. You've finished a PT course. How many degrees do you have? One.
So I did a heap of courses through school, so like retail, childcare, public safety. I've got a criminal justice background.
Yeah.
PT, pre and postnatal.
Yeah.
Travel.
Yeah.
Which, as you can see, I've jumped between a lot of things because things have either not held my interest.
Yeah, right.
Or, great, we've done that, what else is there?
Yeah,
okay, we've done that, now what? Yeah, we've gotten to where we want to be, we've hit the peak.
Yeah.
Cool, moving on.
Yeah,
push it to the side.
Yeah,
so I think being in fitness and PT is good because it's an ever-evolving industry.
Yeah.
I'm not always doing the same thing every day.
No.
I had an office job and I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Wearing the same clothes, doing the same task. Just physically, I'd come home I hated it.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't do it.
And I guess if you've been active from a youth, because that's something that your parents encouraged for management techniques, that's something that's like your baseline foundation. So being able to move your body every day as a PT, it's like digging into that foundational support system that you've developed. So it's probably
absolutely
good.
And then you get that social atmosphere as well, and you then get learning from other mums. Some of the ladies at boot camp with their kids either have hearing loss, and they chat to me about what it was like as a kid, and or their daughters. I've got a couple of the ladies have talked to me about, our daughters potentially have ADHD, and it's game over, it's the end, and it's like, hey, no, it's not. You can do anything. It doesn't stop you. Yeah, it's not done, game over, nothing else is going to happen. It's heaps. Yeah, you just need to manage it.
Yeah, and not only do you have ADHD, the hearing loss as well. Yeah, so like you've got these two things combined.
Absolutely,
and you've accomplished so much. So.
And anything's possible.
Yeah.
If you're determined enough.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Yeah. Look at you, a little ray of positivity.
Whether it's an A to B linear path, I don't know, a straight path, linear path, I'm no engineer. Or whether it is A to B, but you have so many forks in that road that it's now just become a 4-month-long journey to get there.
That's life though, isn't it?
You get there.
Yeah.
If that's the outcome that you want to achieve and that's what you're determined to get, you'll get there. Yeah. You just got to make sure you've got that determination to do it.
Yeah. Which has been your favourite job?
I wanted it to be travel. I wanted to outside of becoming a police officer, I mean, I wanted to be a police officer since I could walk. I'd follow them around the shopping centre. My parents hated it. They'd turn around and be like, God damn. I'd call 000 just to talk to them. And my mum was like, oh, God. But unfortunately...
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Sasha again.
Where are you today?
What's happening?
And so that's the criminal justice background. It's all I wanted to do. They unfortunately don't take those with hearing loss, which was devastating to me when that was all I ever wanted to be. Yeah. So it was a pity party for one while I figured out where we go from there. And
how old were you when you found out that you couldn't join?
I was 23.
Oh, so that's not old, but fairly old if it's something that you've known that you wanted to do for a while.
Yeah, so it sucked, like hardcore sucked. So then we got into like the corporate world while I thought about what I wanted to do. And
money's money.
So being a PA is a pretty good job. And then I did my travel. And I worked for Flight Centre, which was great. You know, it's what I wanted to do. I thought that's what I wanted to do, but I ended up hating it. It didn't end up being, you know, when you envision something and you glamorize it, right? And you put it on this pedestal. Yeah. And you go, oh, yeah, mate.
And you get it.
And then you get it and you're like, oh, this is wrong.
Yeah, oh, mate. Oh, mate.
And that's absolutely it. And so when I was let go during COVID, it was almost like a sigh of relief.
Yeah, okay.
And then, again, it was that pity party for one, where you're like, I have no idea what I want to do now. Yeah. I've exhausted both options. And so I ended up working out a lot. And I was going to the gym a lot. Yeah. And my partner was like, hey, do you have a fitness certificate? And I was like, nah, look at me. I'm asthmatic. I'm deaf. I don't look like a PT. Yeah. And so then he just helped me enroll and we were just going to give it a go. And and now I think this is probably maybe where I should have been from the get-go. Yeah, right. I'm happy. I wake up at 4 a.m. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be such a good day. And if you have a job that you can get up that early and be so thrilled to be up that early in the middle of winter.
Yeah, in the middle of winter.
It's like negative degrees. Then clearly you've picked the winner. Yeah. Right? Yeah. If you've got a job that you're jumping out of bed to get to, and then every day you get home and you're like, I did this and I did this and I did this and I did this. And you're like, oh God, slow down. You're machine gunning me.
Yeah, right.
That's the job you should have been in.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah. I love the people I work with, the people I work alongside with, the kids I get to be involved with. Yeah. It's just great.
That's awesome.
And helping people change their life, which is why I want to be a police officer. So maybe that was just the hurdle I needed to fall over to be here. Yeah. So all I've ever wanted to do in life is help others.
Yeah. So. Do you think that that's because of the help that you got through your childhood?
Yeah, probably. I never really thought about it, but I guess so.
It might not be the case. Who knows? You're going to go home in another little black hole or rabbit hole of Google.
Or, psychology behind.
Yeah.
Thoughts.
So we've heard about how your ADHD has impacted your childhood. Let's talk about your hearing loss.
Yeah. So, like I said, like lots of grommets, lots of speech help. I guess delayed speech from there. I didn't get my hearing aids until I was 26, so quite reasonably late into life.
Do you know how... I don't know how hearing loss is established. Like, is it out of 100? And if you have perfect hearing, you start at 100, and then the worst that you're hearing is you drop down? Like, so is it a gradient like that?
No, I think that's more like your eyes, right? Like your 20/20 vision. So like, yeah, I think so. Like I know with hearing, it's like limited hearing, profound hearing loss. Like they work on a scale like that. So I know for me, I will eventually end up with profound hearing loss with like the talk of like needing like a cochlear as like a proper older adult, not like a middle adult.
So where are you now?
So I am just between, so I'm not profound quite yet. Yeah. But they have noticed from the last like 5 tests that I've done that it is...
Do you have a test a year?
I have a test every 2 years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But they have noticed it's dropping as I get older. So whether that has to do from anything in particular, environment, things like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, I guess it's getting worse in the last 5 years. Prior to that, you don't know if it was progressively getting worse, or...
I don't know. I guess I always did sit at the front of the class, and it was always the, could you repeat that? Huh?
But that could have been...
But that could have been from either, I don't know how most people is, but if someone is saying something to you and you're not interested, it's definitely that in one ear and out the other.
Oh, yeah.
Or you've just completely disassociated. You're looking at them
Yeah.
and you're just... something else is happening, right? The lights are on and no one's home.
100%. And then you go, oh, shit, I've not been paying attention.
You're like, oh, God.
And you have to go,
and hope it's a nodded question,
Yeah.
right? Or you...
I always worry my eyeballs have, like, you know, gone cross-eyed or potentially rolled back. Like, can these people recognise that I have just zoned out completely?
And I think, like, what really prompted the proper testing was you would have someone have a conversation with you. You would only hear 5 out of, let's say, 20 words, and you would piece a story, and it would not be what they've said at all. And so
like a bit of Chinese whispers, but just between two?
Absolutely. Or you'd catch the tail end.
Yeah, okay.
Of like a word, or the front half of a word.
Yeah,
and so you would try and pick up what that word was, and it's not what they'd said. Yeah. And now you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Or you do the, don't call my phone, it's got bad reception, please just text me. But it's because you knew coming across the phone, you'd have no chance in hell of knowing what they've said.
Yeah, right.
Because it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So you would lie to them and be like, hey.
Yeah, okay.
Or please email me that. Or, you know, it just, Or you're in the supermarket, someone be talking to you. Or you're in a crowded environment, someone be talking to you. And they'd either have to be looking straight at you so you could make sure you've paid attention to them, or it's all over Red Rover. That conversation hasn't happened.
To you.
Yes.
So then they've just had to like share the life story.
Rude.
Yeah, right.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So you have a twin and then a younger sister.
Yes.
Do either of them, does anyone in your family have a history of hearing loss or ADHD?
So like Dad's got hearing...
Or you're the individual? The sparkly child?
I'm the special child.
Yeah.
I'm sure my parents would definitely agree that I was the
sparkly one?
Yeah. I mean, we all, like all as kids, all have our, like, you know, our quirks.
As do all people.
As all kids do for health, right? No one has that perfect child as much as they want to believe it, let's be honest. Except for me and my children.
Your fur babies.
Fur babies.
With the 4 legs.
Dad's got hearing loss.
Yeah.
He's got hearing aids as well.
Yeah.
And his was a later in life hearing aids. And that was the same thing. If you were
It's unlikely to have been genetic then.
Very unlikely.
Yeah.
I know. I think Dad's more so he's come from diving and perforated eardrums from deep sea diving. But the same thing was if we're in a crowded venue, Dad and I, there was no conversation for either of us. It was always, oh, your father's got selective hearing.
Yeah. No, he's actually deaf.
and it was always like,
yeah.
So, yeah, but then it's like, oh no. And now most recently, my mum this year has now got hearing aids.
Oh, wow.
So, you know.
It's probably age related?
I don't know. It might be, or it may just be environment situation.
Yeah.
It could be a genetic thing that, you know, as a mother, you're always so focused on those around you that you put yourself on the back seat. So maybe it's just always been there, and she's always been more concerned about others.
Particularly if her baby has had hearing loss, she would have been like, you have hearing loss, you know. Nothing can be as bad as whatever you've had.
Yeah.
Like, I think that we often play down whatever's going on with us if someone has something similar.
I think so, definitely. You know, so...
Yeah, right.
Potentially could have been that, or...
Yeah, and your sister's there?
Their hearing is from my understanding, is fine. Like, my twin sister has some health issues, but not through hearing loss, and, like, neither of them have, like, the diagnosed ADHD, you know. But obviously, as kids, having twins, it was always, you rile each other up.
Yeah. So what, if you, obviously, as you've said, you wear your hearing aids as an adult now. If you don't wear them, what do you hear? What can you hear?
So I still can hear without them. So you'll see me in like most sessions without them on. They can't really get wet. They can't get sweat on them. Mm-hmm. My concern is bouncing around, moving around, and one I was to lose. Because
they're expensive.
They're awfully expensive. Or like if one of the young kids, if I'm picking one up because they've taken a runner and I've caught them first, if they were to grab it, I'd hate to just get furious at someone that had no control over their action.
To break them.
Yes. Yeah. So like without them in, I've still got enough hearing that I can function. I just have to make sure I'm either looking at them or noise in the background is kept to a minimum. So like no pumping music, or if I have misheard them, ask them to repeat themselves or make sure I've stepped in closer to them. So I'm at that stage where I know if they're not in, how to proceed with them. Because when I got them in, it was months on end about, like, I spy with noises, though. It'd be like, what's that noise?
Oh,
what's
really?
Noise? And, like, the headaches you got as you adjusted to them because things were loud.
And, like, your brain was being stimulated?
Yeah. I didn't like it. Like, recently found out that bees are just awful. My God, I hate bees. And birds. Birds make a really noisy noise.
Birds are loud. I'm with you there.
But I remember like getting home from having them the first night. I said to my partner, I was like, "What is that noise? Just stop everything. What is that noise?"
Yeah.
It's the dogs when they come down the hallway. They make a
no!
Noise. And I was like, "Oh my word!" And I was still working in corporate at the time, and I'd got to work the next day. And I said to my boss, There's a noise. There's a noise. We need to find the noise because it needs to stop."
Yeah.
And we ripped apart this office. And it was the printer was making a hum.
Oh, wow.
So the hum of the printer being plugged in, which most people just...
Background
noise. Brain just... It's background noise, right? You don't notice it. You may have noticed it the very first time you started working.
Yeah.
But then you no longer notice it.
Yeah.
But it took a month for my brain to filter it out.
Wow.
So it was rotten.
Yeah. So do your hearing aids, like, level... Yes. Volume adjust?
Yeah, so they have a volume adjuster.
Do you just turn them down when you don't want to listen to Jared talk? Shh, and turn them down?
Honey, they're dead.
I do have to charge them.
So they've got batteries. So the battery lasts for 5 days and then it goes in the trash can. You put a new battery in. My mum has new fancy ones which charge. It's a little bit bougie. So there's a battery. The battery changes every 5 days. And then there's like a little dome that sits inside my ear.
Yeah.
And then they get... gross because inside your ear.
Yeah.
And they get changed every 3 weeks, or if they're real nasty, sooner. But there's rocker switches on the top, so I can switch up and down. So if I'm in a noisy environment, I can go up, I can go down. But I can also control it on my phone. So say if we'd gone somewhere and there was noise behind us, but I wanted to focus on you, I can switch. So instead of having like a 360-degree listening, I can just solely focus on what's in front of me and switch back everything behind.
Yeah, wow. That's really interesting.
It'll filter through from my voice as well. So if I've raised my voice, it'll automatically drop my hearing aids.
Wow.
To be like, hey, everything's gotten noisy, or it's you. And then that's how people also know when my hearing aids die. Is they're like, yo, you're real loud right now. I'm like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, right.
Because I have even now, I still have no idea how loud I am.
Yeah.
So, I think for a lot of people, it's always meeting me for the first time.
Yeah.
It's always like,
no. I don't think so. Well, I didn't find that. I'm deaf to my own voice. So, I don't need, or I might need hearing aids, to be honest. I haven't been tested in years. But my voice to me is much quieter than what everyone else hears. So I don't know how loud I am talking. I know I'm loud because people tell me I'm loud.
Oh, yeah.
But I can project well. But if we're having a conversation, often, like, if I'm whispering, the next table can hear my whispering. And I'm like, oh, shit. So
yeah, no, there's
no secrets in this house.
No, even in, like, like in schoolhouse and Chinese whispers, it was always like...
No, Sasha.
That's not always bro. You're like, this is the quietest I can be. The teacher's like, God damn, kid.
This is it. That's so funny. Crap. Sorry, I've just knocked a box over. That's so funny. Yeah. Sorry, I mean, like, I'm sure that at the time it wasn't funny, but the way that you...
I reckon that'd be probably the thing that would piss me off the most when I was younger was, why are you so loud? Stop being so loud. And you'd be like, I'm not loud.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're so loud. I'm not.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
And you'd get really frustrated with them.
Yeah.
So that'd probably be the number one thing outside of being like, oh, twin one, or the twins, or confusing me for my sister.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys aren't identical twins. Oh, you are identical twins.
Yeah, we're identical. So, like up until puberty, identical. Like, I even, my folks can't tell us apart in baby photos.
Wow.
You'd be like, hey, which one's which? They'd be like,
Actually, you tagged your sister in something on Facebook that came up in my newsfeed a couple of weeks ago, and I said to Harry, who's this? And he said, Sasha. And I said, well, it's not Sasha, but then I said that you're a twin, so like, you must look really similar.
Now, obviously, I've purple hair now. She's got red hair.
Yeah. Yours is really short.
Yeah, hers is quite long.
Yeah.
So, but like even all throughout school, so like they'd make my mum. So we had.
Were you like blue and she was green or something?
I had black socks. She had white socks, and so they'd have to look for the socks. But they tried us in the same class. So like we were repeated a year in preschool, which is I guess prep now for most parents.
Yeah.
Because my sister, surprisingly, was the one that didn't talk. I'd be like, Casey would like to go outside and play now. Casey would like to eat. Louder. Casey would like to go to the bathroom. And they'd be like, what does she actually want? And she would just sit there.
Yeah, right.
Which is surprising for,
Who is the older twin?
I'm older by a minute.
1 minute.
I'm only a minute older.
Pop those babies out.
Here's one, here's two.
Yeah, catch.
Like, surprise! Wow. But then we tried it. We're both very competitive. As, when you have more than one child.
Yeah.
And particularly when they're the same age, you're always that one up. Not so much now, but it was always. So then we got separated in classes. But even
was that better?
I think so.
Did you miss her? Does that make sense? Do you remember that?
Not in primary school, but like in high school, obviously rocky friendship. It was
you and your sister.
Yeah, and now that we're older,
like
best of friends. Like there's no issues. But I think puberty does that to most people, right?
100%.
But even in high school, people are like, the twins. It was never the association of one, like each of us separately.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know if anyone with twins also notices that, but
I've heard from people who are twins that
it just was really frustrating because it just felt like they didn't take the time, one, either to learn your name or to figure out who was who.
Yeah, right.
Or that they actually cared.
Yeah.
Because we're very different people. She's very very clever in the art. And meanwhile, I went to sport. Yeah. But even still, like none of our classes crossed over.
Yeah.
But the teachers would just be like, the twins.
And it wasn't just an accident where they've only caught like half of your face.
Yeah, because
and they thought it was the other one.
But because even in high school, we were quite different.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So
I can understand that would be.
Yeah, it was
like,
really
rude.
disappointing. Yeah, rude. Absolutely. But now it's just a bit of a joke.
Yeah, now that you've moved past it and your hormones have settled from puberty, it's funny.
Yeah, but now it's just a fun game of like, are they going to know which one's which? Particularly for my dad.
Oh, does he still not realise?
Oh, he does, but like for dad, it's so funny because he'll call us whatever name he first thinks of.
Oh, yeah, that's like all parents though, isn't it? My grandma used to do that to the point where I'm an only child, and my mum would list the dog first. So, like, I understand that it can just be sometimes parents.
Yeah. And we did bunk beds, so you'd play the game of switching bunks and be like,
And I bet you two were turds as well. Like, you didn't make it easier on him.
No,
or he would call you Sasha, and you'd be like, I'm not Sasha.
Oh, yeah.
And then he would be like, well, which one are you?
Yeah, it would be funny now, like, even as full adults and my little sister, he'll just even call us our little sister name, and you're like, whoa. Yeah, she's got dark hair. What are you doing?
You don't look similar to her?
No, we're all very different kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I used to play the game of telling people my little sister was adopted.
Oh.
My mum hated it. She's darker hair and a darker skin tone. Yeah, so we'd be like, that one's not ours. My mum's like, oh my God, she is. We were there when she was born. We knew for a fact.
Yeah.
It's just funny to see people fluster.
That's so funny.
So, no. So, now it's funny when Dad's like, hey, and you're like, no, which one am I?
Yeah,
or you'll call us mum's name, you're like, what? What are you doing?
That's so funny.
I remember when my partner first met my entire family and me.
How long have you guys been together?
12 years.
Wow, you're a little baby then.
Yeah, high school sweethearts. He always thinks it's very weird, like, our relationship, because, like, I would definitely count, like, my mum is my best friend, and my sister's in there, and my dad. Well, I know a lot of people don't have that sort of relationship with their parents, so that, to me, is also weird. Like, I've always just had my family is my family, and I'll do anything for them.
Yeah.
Even if they shirt you off, they're still your family. So people that don't have such a good relationship, I always don't really know how to respond.
Yeah,
because they've always just been there, and they've always been amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Even when teenagers, and I'm sure my mum was like, I just want to kill you.
Yeah.
Because trust me, I was not a great kid.
I'm sure you were a great kid. You're just challenging, let's say. I'm sure that you were a great kid.
We'll wait for Mum's response to this podcast.
Yeah. I'm sure that she will say that you were. I'm sure that she will say what I've just said. Maybe not the word challenging, but she will say what I've just said. I'm sure.
But it's just that always, constant support.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Were you open with Jared from the beginning, your partner, about having ADHD and hearing loss? Oh, I guess you weren't even diagnosed then.
Wasn't diagnosed. Obviously, it's definitely been fun. Maybe not for him, but like over the last few years, more so like getting used to hearing aids. And I guess his like support with getting them and doing the I Spy the Sounds game.
Oh yeah, that's really sweet.
But like his reaction to getting them, and when we trialed them out and being able to hear him in like a crowded venue was awesome, and hearing him in the house was great, instead of him being like, oh my God, just listen to me, woman.
Yeah. So he must be really patient.
He's a saint in terms of like he'll be able to find me in the house from the trail of like empty cups or half drunk cups or full cups even, or he'll make dinner and pour me a drink, and then we'll be halfway through dinner and he's like, hey, don't forget you've got a drink.
Aww.
And then we'll finish dinner and he's like, don't forget about that drink.
Yeah, right.
Or he's like, okay. And so the diary is good for him, because then he'll be able to know either where I am or be able to help prompt me for, don't forget you got that.
Oh, that's really
so like
sweet.
Calendar invites when things are coming up, or put it in your diary, we've got this on this day.
Yeah.
So he has been, I'm definitely sure I've tested his patience on more than one occasion.
Oh, yeah.
But
everyone, like partners.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he's tested yours.
I'm sure.
Yeah, he definitely will.
But yeah, I think you need that support as well. You wouldn't be able to go through a lot of things without having the support or that understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really lovely. Oh, good on him. He's going to, if he listens to this, he's going to be like, oh, you're going to get flowers now. Are you listening? Sasha's going to get flowers now. That's really lucky. So have you found relationships hard to maintain?
Well, if I
do you get distracted from them? Does that make sense?
In terms of
like friendships, not boyfriends,
but yeah, because I was going to say, I've only really had Jared. I guess yes and no. For me, it's always been that question. I think we've discussed this. Are people just tolerating me because they're trying to be polite, or do they genuinely like being my friend? Mm-hmm. And I think that's something I've struggled with. And then you get it into your head that, well, actually, I'm maybe not a great person, and maybe they're just trying to be nice so they don't hurt my feelings. And then so you disassociate from that relationship or friendship. Yeah. So is that a trigger because you question it because you have ADHD, or do you think it's just the type of person? Does that make sense? I think it's just the type of person that I am.
Yeah, okay.
I have, I guess, like, through teenagehood and stuff, and even now, I struggled a lot with being okay with myself. Like, I'm not my own friend.
Yeah, okay.
So whether it's like I don't like myself personally at times, so then I think that then flows into friendships and things like that, or I've pushed people away, whether like never deliberately.
Yeah.
But
I understand that.
Yeah.
I understand that.
But
right.
I do try to maintain friendships.
Well, we're friends, Sasha. I don't just tolerate you. I pay you, but I don't just tolerate you.
With that, I'm very thankful. And I think, coming on board out here and starting what I have has also helped just kind of push myself a little bit. Mm-hmm. Like, it's no longer like it's almost like you're doggy paddling on the surface. There's more people. There's more support.
Yeah.
There's people that are like, let's go get coffee.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or you get invited to a birthday party and you're like, oh my goodness, they've actually thought to invite me when they could have invited someone else, but they chose me.
They could have not invited you.
That is
not
also,
even someone else. Just not invited you.
So, you know, that's been really good.
Yeah.
From that term of things.
Yeah, good. That's really good. I guess it's all kind of like piecing together for you then.
I think, definitely.
With work, relationships.
As you get older.
Diagnoses. Diagnosi. Someone's going to comment on this. It's like octopi, octopuses.
Comment below.
Yeah.
The plural of.
I think it's diagnoses. I think it's diagnoses.
Okay.
We'll go with that. If you know, feel free to comment. Yeah, that's really good. So obviously, hearing loss, ADHD has not held you back. If not, it's probably given you more drive.
I think so. I think I never wanted anything to really be, I can't do that because of this.
Yeah.
And I think recently I've brought on a coach, like a running coach, because I've always used, I have asthma, I can't run, as an excuse.
Yeah.
And then I just had poor cardio health.
Yeah.
And so now that I have a coach and I'm running and I'm like, it was all in my head. Mm-hmm. It was just, that's all it was. It's an excuse. Mm-hmm. So don't let things just be an excuse. Push past that excuse. Mm-hmm. You're only as weak as that excuse, right? So I think it's the same.
Is this a mindset that you've developed as an adult? Or is this something that has,
definitely more like as an adult. Like I guess like a teenager or a kid, I would have just gone, woe is me. Like those pity parties full on, right?
Yeah.
That's it, game over. We're just going to have a sulk. Yeah. And we're going to spiral into just nothing. But now it's like, you know what? No. Because people are either looking up to you.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to tell people, I want to better your life. And you're like, well, maybe I should start with my life too.
Yeah.
So, push past those excuses and push past those weak points. And, be better for yourself than you were yesterday.
Was there something that triggered this mindset shift for you? Or do you think it's just been with age? Or
I think Jared has been really good at that push, right? At pushing me, which has been fantastic. And I think having him be like, I know you can do better.
Yeah.
So I guess having that number one cheerleader, and then people you meet at work that have that faith in you as well. And it's not just colluding with you. Yeah.
They're going, oh yeah, that sucks. Go, no, come on. That does suck, but what's next?
Exactly. They're like, you're better than that.
Yeah.
Pick yourself up. Dust your knees off. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, just because something you used to do, it doesn't mean you have to always do it.
No, 100%.
So, yeah.
Awesome. That was so good. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insight. I definitely have learned so much from you being able to so eloquently explain your experiences through life. So thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure that other mummies and other humans, not just necessarily mummies, other women, people are going to get so much out of that. So as always, we're going to finish with this or that. So burpees or get-ups?
Burpees every time.
Wine or spirits?
That's a tough one. Red wine.
An arm for a leg or a leg for an arm?
I would go an arm for a leg.
Savoury or sweet?
Savoury.
And which one's your favourite dog?
Jared.
Oh, good job. Alrighty, thank you.